Hey everyone, my name's Freefall, and today I want to talk to you about a certain headcanon that's been on my mind lately, pony dragon hybrids. Now, anyone who's watched enough episodes of Horse Show is probably cognizant of Spike's little secret.
I have a crush on Rarity.
Yeah, pretty common knowledge at this point. So a lot of people think Spike should end up with Rarity in the end. Others think that Spike is too young for her and suggest that he should instead be with Sweetbelle, or one of the other CMCs. Without getting too deep into shipping preferences, let's just assume he does end up with one or the other in the end. This raises the inevitable question, would they be able to have kids? Before we ask ourselves if it's possible, I think it'd be beneficial to ask if it should be possible. And personally, I think it would be interesting to have more diverse pony races. Not even necessarily Spike's children. I think it'd be interesting just to have more diversity than simply the 3 pony races we've come to know. Having pony dragon hybrids could involve very intriguing world building and even interesting new characters. The downside to this headcanon, though, comes in when we ask ourselves if it can happen. The first being the obvious, we've never seen this before, and if it were possible, there's a chance we would have seen it by now. Although the same could arguably be said for yaks, we never even heard of them until Season 5 Episode 11. So let's look at this from a different perspective. Without going too much into the Pegasi and the Bugbears, we know that Spike hatched from an egg, meaning he's oviparous, and as we all know, ponies are mammals. And other than platypi, mammals do not lay eggs. And that obviously goes for horses as well. So more likely than not, this would make them incompatible for breeding. But not decisively so. Take a look at this brown dragon for example. He's depicted as having a belly button, something that is impossible for an oviparous animal. And unlike in other cases where you can chalk it up to being an animation error, this isn't quite that simple. This is the dragon's definitive design. It's canon for him. This could suggest one of two things, one being that different species of dragons could reproduce differently, one being oviparous and the other being viviparous. And if that were the case, then we would certainly not be seeing any children between Spike and a pony, although the second possibility would be that dragons may be able to reproduce in multiple ways, kind of like the chickens in Minecraft. To my knowledge, no such animal exists in the real world, but then again we are talking about a universe of brightly colored talking horses here, and assuming this is the case, Spike may still be able to be a father with a pony after all. Although just because 2 species breed the same way doesn't mean they can breed with each other. Hamsters and gerbils are similar, but they can't reproduce. So now we come to the question, could ponies and dragons mate? The answer is a resounding possibly. As many of us know, horses are capable of mating with donkeys, which is how mules are created, and we know mules exist in this world thanks to Rarity.
Mules are ugly.
Racist bitch. But yeah, we know that ponies can evidently mate with donkeys, and since dragons are fictional creatures entirely, what they can and can't mate with is largely up to the imagination. Although Rarity may be hesitant to breed with anything other than another horse. But sadly, there is yet another piece of evidence casting doubt on the possibility of dragons and ponies being compatible, that being Equestria Girls. I personally enjoyed the film, but I found the romance to have some rather unfortunate implications, like Twilight falling for a human. If they want her to have a love interest, fine, but introducing him to her as a pony first would have been appreciated. I'm getting off track though. The other disturbing factor was Spike's crush on Rarity, which is only arguably less creepy since he's a dog and she's a human, but at the same time he's attracted to the fact that she's Rarity as opposed to the fact that she's human. Without going too far into critical analysis on this, we are still left with the simple fact that Spike is a dog in this world. At this point we'd be left with some rather unfortunate implications just for Spike having a relationship with Rarity or Sweetbelle or pretty much anyone other than another dragon. Let alone if he were to actually try to breed with them. There are a few counterpoints to this, one being that Equestria Girls is often considered non-canon, despite most of its story fitting decently well within what's already been established in the show's canon. The other one being that perhaps not everything in the human world is one-to-one with the pony world. It's difficult to say since it's been established that even the diamond dogs have humanized equivalents, but there is evidence to suggest that the human world is allowed to break from Equestria, For example, Celestia and Luna are most likely not immortal in the human world, and if they age the same as everyone else compared to their equestrian equivalent, that would probably imply that the regular humans would die in their 30s or so. And there are several creatures who probably wouldn't really fit into a humanized version, such as the entirety of the changelings. As such, it may be possible for some characters to exist in Equestria without having to exist in the human world. In conclusion, there are a lot of if statements to factor into whether or not Spike or any dragon could mate with Rary or any other pony. But it's not something I would necessarily hate to see made into a reality. At the end of the day, this one's up to the writers to decide. What do you guys think? Do you think pony dragon hybrids could or should become a reality within the context of the show? Or do you think it'd be best to leave this headcanon to fanfiction? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.